All right, so yes, let's start right away. We have finally seen a pullback that I have been waiting for into the opening gap and have seen a rejection. Welcome to another episode of our daily market review. Today is Thursday and the market just closed just about 24 minutes ago. So look at how they traded. Obviously, you can see that the market with each sides of the price and now it's hanging here, right? With side, downside, and then also with the upper side of it. Now the good thing is that I mentioned that I was expecting price to use this area here coupled with this fair value gap left here on the on the dailies as a resistance level for continuation lower. However, even though we've seen that, I'm still not really convinced about the close, even though we've hit that and then closed back inside of this, right? I'm still not really convinced enough because looking at the other majors, the way they close, they are still closing within. This is USD still closing within the fair value gap and also below the close, the low of the previous candle. We go to cable with the upper side and then came all the way to close within. I was rather expecting cable to wick the area marked and then close, show signs of bullishness, right? But then that is not really what I'm actually seeing. What I'm actually envisioning is sort of a consolidation. And to think that there's still some news coming for Thursday and Friday CPI, I think that it makes sense that we are still not getting a very clear um, directional bias on the higher time frame, even though we've seen a rejection here, taking into consideration the high and the low of the range, and then a rejection from this upper portion of the range. This is a massive drop closing below the opening gap also. And so now within this, price is now within this fair value gap on the dailies, right? This is where we are seeing the reaction. So price is generally stuck between two opposing blocks, two opposing areas here, and then also this fair value gap, and then the opening gap, right? So we've not seen price close either above or below any of these PDRs, and so it is understandable that price is kept in the loop and is working both sides of the market. I am still sort of seeing that price may try to come back in here again to fill in this wick here to test that again, right? Have some down closing candles here with price actually closing bullishly above it here, also above the opening gap, sorry, here, right? So this is actually kind of looking like it wants to try to test this wick again, right? But we'll definitely see how it goes. I was actually expecting that price would react very nicely as it has done and then see signs of weakness. But I am pretty sure because of the news we have on our hands, unemployment claims and CPI, small reason why price has been kept in the loop until those news are out of the way, right? So as it stands now, I don't really have a very clear read, even though I've said that price reacted off of the premium of this level down here. I'm expecting price to hit the opening gap and then subsequently take out this liquidity level And if there's still momentum to the downside, take out all of these liquidity levels and then ultimately this level here. But now price, I'll sit on my hands for some time. Just watch what price does on the H4 and then perhaps on the H1 to read the order flow on these time frames to be able to tell exactly what price wants to do so that I follow suit, right? But in the meantime, I don't really have a clear bias where price, I can't really tell exactly what price wants to do. So I'll leave it at that. Right, so switch to EU. So same thing, EU reacts off of this fair value gap. We've seen a massive price expansion closing above this, but then still coming back to test this fair value gap, right? That has been created here. Price rather closed, dip within, even though we've seen a rejection here. But this close below this line, this level here is a suspect. If I go to the H4, this is the H4. It's more like we have flat tops here, but this down closing candle with price actually reacting off of this is what is giving me signs or pointing to signs that it wants to reject this candle. So we'll see how it goes. If price is really bullish, I would love to see price come all the way to close here, and then you can see some movement to the upside. Right, price should be able to close above this down closing candle here, and then we can look for a short long from this side after price has taken liquidity on the lower time frames, that is on the 15-minute time frame. But in the meantime, price is not really tipping its hands where it wants to go, and so I'll be a bit cautious taking trades. On the H1, yes, on the H1, these highs sort of equal, but that drop here, right? And now price is trading in this on the H1 with price failing to come back lower. It's possible that we could take out the high once again and then drop. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be monitoring the H4 and the H1 to see how it pans out. But in the meantime, where price is stopping, you cannot really tell exactly what is going to happen next. For cable, reaction, expansion, closing above these down closing candles on the daily, which is very good. We left fair value gaps here and then also closed above this inefficiency, making it to balance price range. Price now has come to close and is still holding within the range. As you can see, price has taken out the external range liquidity. Let me put here, right? On the H4, you can see that price is done taking out the external range liquidity and dropped to take out the internal range liquidity here. So from here, I was expecting to see on the H1 or M15 bullish price action to continue higher, but that's not really what I'm seeing. See, price dropped, closed here below this level. This is a pullback. Price is now closing below this. So this is more like a proportion block. This here was a gap down for the new day's opening, Thursday's opening. So I'd love to see what happens here. This is the H4. I still really think that from the behavior of price, it is more likely that we see a dwindle down, right? So you're watching price to see H1 takes out external, comes for internal, fails to go, and then comes down here, closing below these ones and also below this level, right? Which price used as resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, support here, support there, came back again, right? So we didn't see any positive action here. That is telling us that price wants to reject this level and go higher, but rather try to go, and then now price is closing below that level and also below this. So it is quite interesting what could happen moving on from here, but we'll see how it goes. So this is how it is. This is what it is. So yep, I'll end here with today's episode of the Daily Market Review. I'll be sitting on my hands until I see a very good move coming out of this. So I may probably look at either the yens or the crosses for whichever one gives me something to um, take home with. All right. So thank you for your time. If this was any helpful, do like and subscribe. Comment if you have to. If you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you for your time once again. I'll see you tomorrow.